Hello, and welcome to Keeper's Corner Podcast, where we're breaking down anything and everything Utica City FC related. With your hosts, as always, Matthew Sterling, Michelle Brooks, and Brandon Brooks. Let's go.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Keeper Corner Podcast. Matt and Brandon here once again, and unlike last week, we get to talk about some wins.
Sogs!
Well, yeah, but we talked about Sogs last week too.
Okay, fine. Look, I didn't have my button last week. Now I do.
Well, I'm glad you have your little comfort button back.
Yay!
You know what's better than that? 6
Two
points.
wins.
Well, 5 points.
5 points. I was gonna say one of those. Well, oh, wait. Does that mean that we had an overtime win? Does that mean we had an overtime win against Florida? Did I predict it? Oh yeah.
Okay, you can stop scratching your own back over there.
I'm just gonna keep patting myself on the back. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No. Listen, I'm gonna cherish the moment right now because that's a prediction for me in the books, and we don't get many of those.
I'll be honest, we make those predictions and I forget them by the time I'm done editing.
Wow.
I said something. I don't remember what it was.
Just like I remember that I reverse psychologied Friday's game in Harrisburg. You know, I said we win by 1. We won by more. I usually say we're going to win by 2 or 3. Guess what? We usually win by 1. So I said, you know what? We're going to win by 1. We won by 3.
Well, that's nice. Because it was a pretty much dominant game on Friday there in Harrisburg. 7-4 victory. A bunch of fans, including yourself, made the trip down.
Through the snow and the sleet and the rain and everything else, which I can't take credit. My lovely wife, Michelle, decided that she was going to drive on the way down, and she got us there in one piece. I'm the one.
I just have to chuckle because you kind of had that pause where you like cleared your throat, but no one else could hear it or see it. So it just kind of like my lovely wife. Let me throw that in there before she kills me.
Listen, just because I am showing off for you on the camera and no one else can see the camera doesn't mean I am not a showman at heart.
Oh,
I think I broke him. Hey, listen. I'm the one that drove home after the Harrisburg game. We didn't get home until 3:30.
Oh, man, I hoped you guys were smart and got a hotel.
No, it was spur of the moment. Literally, I get a text message at, 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning from Huber, a.k.a. the FC Fanatic, saying, y'all want to go to Harrisburg? Okay, let's do it. Screw it. Got out of work at noon. Basically got home, changed, got in the car. Away we went. Through that wonderful snowstorm.
See, it was terrible out. And I was like, my first thought was, well, I hope they got a hotel. They wouldn't be dumb enough to drive back through this.
Actually, the drive home was piece of cake. It was basically just a little tiny bit of flurries on the way home.
Oh, that's right.
Like
it broke
nothing.
up late at night.
Yeah, it completely broke up. There was nothing. Like, it was just little itty bitty snow squalls here or there. I think the worst part about it was getting around the Syracuse area, being in the valley, and the fog. The fog was awful for a little bit. But yeah, it was a super easy drive except for trying to keep myself awake. I was tired. I had a major headache because of all the yelling and screaming, and just overall.
Well, we could hear you guys on the broadcast, so it was worth it.
Yes, you could. It was so worth it. There was at least probably 20 Utica fans there, and at one point we made it. I don't think we made friends. Okay, we were loud.
Kind of like the last time.
Yeah, kind of like the last time. Self-propellant and all that stuff.
Did you see our best friend Maui? Or
no, I did not see best friend Maui. They did have their what's his name? Scorch. Yeah, Scorch was there. Yeah, we got high five from Scorch. You know, it was cool.
a great game. I'm sure you guys enjoyed the atmosphere and being back in that territory. City. And I mean, the best part for you was you didn't have to listen to the broadcast. Until you decided to go back and watch it.
Yep,
Isn't the homework great?
I watched the whole thing today, and I'm sorry, but how can you not pronounce your own team's names? Like, I know it's not the normal person. I know that I'm not going to, I know who it is. I'm not going to call them out, but
yeah,
do your own homework because I had to. But how do you not know or know how to pronounce your own team's names? It is not Thetsane. It is Tetsane. Even the MASL media people on Twitch were correcting you. I'm calling you out.
I was very confused how he got Andrade out of Andrade. Like, there's not a J or a G or like a ZH in there to give you the jaw sound at the end that you're getting.
He almost had Rafa. Almost. At one point. He was calling him Godoy. Close. Very close. And then he changed it to Godai. And I was like, wow, he is telling Rafa to just go die, apparently, a lot. It was like first half one way, second half the other way.
Like, we're probably in for a rough broadcast on Saturday night because it'll be down in Baltimore, and they're one of the more biased broadcasting teams, openly biased. Like, everyone's biased, but yep. Like,
it's not like listening to it. It's not like listening to Big Z or listening to Doctor and Philly. It's not like listening to them. It's they are
and Bergru.
Yeah. Yep. All three of those broadcast teams are very unbiased. Of course, I'm curious if the ones in Mexico, if they're unbiased, but unfortunately I don't speak the language, so I can't tell, but boy, do they sound excited about everything.
Yeah, they do.
even our goals, they sounded very excited for. So I'm just going to say that they're probably not too biased, but I can't tell, unfortunately. And that's my own fault for not knowing the language.
I just feel robbed that we didn't get John Wills back on the call for 2 of these games this year because he had the call for Sirius XM.
I'm sorry, isn't it Wilsbach?
I don't know. I don't have a pronunciation guide provided by the league.
He doesn't have as much of a problem mispronouncing, so don't you give that man any sass.
Will's batch. We should probably actually talk about the game.
I was going to say, I know we've already gone on a tangent. Like, this is going to a good start.
But in this game that Utica pretty much controlled throughout, do you have a stat that tells the story? Catches your attention.
I don't know. This game kind of felt weird. Could have just been because I was there. I don't know. I think the stat that kind of, to me, told a different story than what was actually on the field was the fourth quarter. I mean, we got scored on in quick succession 3 times, 3 unanswered goals in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. And to me, that hurt. Like, that was all. Well, no, 2 out of those 3 were 6 attacker. One of them was just Hoxie being Hoxie and scoring on us. I mean, you could also reverse that and say, hey, we had 4 unanswered between the second, third, and fourth. Oh, no, I do actually have a stat. It's not really a stat, though. It is 2 scoreless quarters. They did not score in the second. They did not score in the third. They prevented Harrisburg from scoring 2 quarters. That is something we're normally guilty of. We scored in every quarter. We kept them from scoring for 2 full quarters, full 30 minutes in the middle of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's worth commending our defense for doing that. But it also helped that we possessed a lot. So that's what I'll go with.
Okay. Mine.
I don't care.
It's Andrew Coughlin.
Yeah.
Once again, named MASL Defender of the Week.
That's right.
But in 19 save attempts, he made 15 saves. He only allowed 2 goals that were against a regular 5-on-5. The other 2 came against 6 attacker situations.
Yep.
Oh, and he collected his 7th goalkeeper assist on the empty netter to end the game and put the game completely out of reach for Harrisburg.
Yeah, with 45 seconds left, we got that. Yeah, it was 45 seconds. We got that 7th goal. There was no way you're getting, well, again, have we seen 3 goals in 45 seconds? Yes. Is it rare? Yeah. We've seen it once in basically 4 years, like 3 seasons of
And
soccer.
it wasn't one team getting all 3 goals either.
Yeah.
Traded goals.
Right.
789 save percentage. The assist, just another dominant outing and a good bounce back from what we saw in Mexico. And obviously a big reason for that is you had Steph playing again and you had Toby playing again.
Yes.
Those 2 guys in front of him give him a lot more confidence and he can take more risks back there because he knows he has those 2 stalwart defenders in front of him.
Exactly. Yeah, he really does. And you see the difference in performance with him when he's confident, when he knows he's got, hey, if I mess up, these 2 are going to be here to back me up. We've seen Toby literally kick balls just basically out of the goal because they happen to bounce off of Andrew or something else that Andrew didn't see that Toby did. And I mean, so yeah, he knows, hey, these guys can and will back me up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he absolutely feels much more, you could tell he feels much more confident.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to see the difference, and it definitely gives us as fans a bunch more confidence going into these final 4 games.
Oh, every time that Toby or Steph has their foot on the ball, you just kind of breathe a sigh of relief. And I even talked to some of the guys, and they've said the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, you see them with the ball, and it's just like, okay, bring it down, refocus.
Yeah, I've heard Toby described by one of his teammates as forgetting more about soccer than I will ever know, and the kind of person who, when he speaks, you listen.
Yep.
Because if he's taking that time, he is imparting knowledge.
And it's knowledge you want to know about.
Not a knock on his age, but like he's kind of like that wise old elderly grandmaster in all the kung fu movies.
You know what? Sure. Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not even gonna argue it. Nope.
Like Master Shifu in Kung Fu Panda.
Wow, is he that short?
I just meant wise and still very capable of performing what he is talking about.
Okay. All right. I'll give you that.
Okay. So you said Utica pretty much controlled this game, but do you have a play that changed the game?
Yes, but I also do have one more stat.
Okay.
It's a real easy one. 2 full seasons down in Harrisburg that we have not lost a game. Undefeated in Harrisburg, 2 full seasons. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, 6 straight in Harrisburg, 11 straight against Harrisburg overall.
Yep. Let's make it 12 this weekend.
That would be wonderful.
That would be wonderful. But do I have a play that changed the game? I have a play that set the tone for the game. And honestly, that was the very first goal of the game, which we had the returning Rafa Godoy scoring a beautiful goal from like just inside the yellow line. Like it was hurty. And the reason I say the very first goal not only set the tone, but was a play that, you know, kind of changed / shaped the game is because one of the things I'm giving the fans that traveled a little bit of a lot of credit here, because during that play, when we were on the power play, literally right before he shot that goal, we were all chanting the Utica chant in enemy territory, which, you know,
the best thing to do.
It is the best thing to do. I know you've done it there, in fact, and in Baltimore. And yeah,
that was fun in Baltimore. Took them a second to realize they were also chanting Utica and switch it to Baltimore, but
yeah,
crowdthink is a fun thing to mess with,
isn't it? Though,
yeah.
No, they knew what we were chanting, and I'm pretty sure we got some dirty looks. But hey, you know what? I don't care.
Have more fans and be louder.
Yeah. Well, okay. Let me set the record straight before I get into this. There are more fans there than what you see. There is a whole, you know, it was something that was in the Twitch chat that I do want to call out. And that was the fact that this place has two sides to it. The side that has the camera has just as many, if not more, fans on it. So, you know, it looks like there's not that many people there, but there is. There is a good amount of people there. They had a good what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, good turnout. I wanted to say outturn. I don't know why. A good turnout for this game. And, you know, credit where credit's due. I mean, they would have just gotten done dealing with the storm that we did. So, you know, the fact that they all made it out there, I mean, that's awesome. So they deserve some praise for, you know, having the turnout that they did.
I guess let me rephrase that. Have more rowdy fans.
Oh, they got rowdy towards the fourth quarter. Don't you worry. They hated us.
You got to get into it sooner. Defend your home turf.
Fair enough. But getting back to what I was saying, this play, you could tell the guys were energized after that little just push from the fans. Like you could see it in their behavior. And I give Steph a lot of credit too, because he is such a good hype man. Like he energizes everyone around him, just like Timmy does. So those two, you know, Timmy mostly on basically being an assistant coach at this point, and Steph on the bench as well. They complement each other, and it is intoxicating. The energy that those two bring to this team. So between Steph, between us, the fans kind of contributing to the play, it was just awesome. And I honestly believe that set the tone for the rest of the game, because we ran away with it. They ran away with it. It's like the boys had something to prove to the people that came down. I don't know.
You know, I almost agree with you on what play changed it. But I'm going to back it up just a little bit to the penalty that set up that power play.
Okay.
Because earlier in the game, we'd already seen Andrade get taken down and come up limping.
Again.
And then on that play, he gets taken down from behind and comes up with an injury, or at least hurt on the play. And I'm pretty sure that's the point in chat. I was like, can we just not hurt him? Because that's what set everything off the first time. Like, kudos to the refs for actually calling the blue card this time. But him getting hurt caused everything to boil over last time. And I think this time, instead of taking it out in scrum and doing a little barbershop work, the guys were just like, we're going to bury you. This game is ours.
This is my field now.
Look at me. Look at me. This is my turf now.
Yeah, I actually saw your message about can we stop hurting Milton? Can we please stop hurting Nilton?
Just please, come on, guys. We don't need a repeat of 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. No, I actually did see your in fact, I'm looking at it literally right now. I did see your message in the chat from the last time, or when I was watching it before, and like I said, right now for that exact moment, because it's literally what I'm looking at. So yeah. No, they were. I felt they were good. One of the other complaints that I had heard about the game was, of course, the refs were terrible. They had literally the worst fourth quarter I've ever seen in sports, and blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. There was literally nothing called in the fourth, and when I was watching the fourth, it looked like a pretty clean fourth. There was some common fouls, and to Everton's credit, at one point, wasn't in the fourth, but for your kerfuffle.
Yeah.
At one point, Ty Hall and Steph were getting into it again. Mm-hmm. Immediately, Everton's like, get off the field. Get off the field, get on the bench. Because us on the bench were yelling at Steph like, "Don't do it again!" When he got to the bench, and we were giving him a hard time. It was pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, in a game where Utica was called for 70% more fouls than Harrisburg. Now Harrisburg got called for 3 blue cards versus 1, but common fouls, like, I mean, you look on paper, you go, well, they just had it out for Utica, but Harrisburg made more egregious fouls. But now, just Utica was, I think, more physical and was willing to cross the line and get called for a foul just to assert their dominance.
Although, if Utica had not had a challenge, that goalkeeper handling the ball outside the box would not have been called.
Yeah,
he was. When I watched that on the replay on the broadcast, I did not realize just how outside the box he really was.
Oh, his
hands were completely outside the box. I did not see that when we were at the game in real time. But yeah, he was completely outside the box. And credit where credit's due, I'm pretty sure that was Timmy that basically said, challenge that. I'm pretty sure he's the one that saw that. So at least that's the way it looked and sounded. But yeah, I don't know if you've actually looked at the MASL website, but Tim Goldman is listed as an assistant coach at this time.
Yes.
Which is pretty freaking cool because he deserves it.
Got to keep that positivity on the bench.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Heavy is the head that wears the visor.
Or the headband.
Or the headband in this case. Let's turn to Sunday.
Yes.
In what was a thrilling overtime win. Utica knocks off Florida 5-4. Gordy Gerson coming through with yet another game-winning shootout goal.
Oh. When in doubt, you got a shootout, you give it to Gordy.
I mean, I'm sorry we abandoned you kind of up there for a while because we had the beer garden tickets, but
I'm not.
No, you enjoyed me not being there?
No, that's not it at all. But listen, you paid for beer garden tickets. You should go down and enjoy the beer garden and get in the ref's face and
I got
get kicked out of the
penny
game.
Worth on that. I got every penny worth.
You'll have to elaborate once the time comes.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, overall a good game.
Yes.
But like always, there are positives and negatives. And although Utica took the win, there's obviously still room to be worked on.
Mm-hmm.
What can we take out of this that still needs to be worked on?
Ooh. I got one. I got one.
Brandon in the front.
So, this is a positive negative thing.
Okay.
Positive. We possessed a lot of this game. We had a lot of possession time, especially in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Negative. We did nothing with it. We didn't do a single thing with it in the first quarter. Nothing. We possessed the ball. I swear it must have been 12 out of 15 minutes. We had so much possession in the first quarter, and we didn't do a single thing with it. Half the time we passed it around the box, like we've seen in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but we did take some shots, but we took a while to try and set it up. And I know that they are typically what seems to happen is if we don't get that quick counterattack, like we are very good at, which Florida is a very fast team.
Mm-hmm.
And so getting that quick counterattack is going to be very rare and very unlikely against them. So the fact that, we didn't get that quick counterattack a few times, we would just get set up in their defensive third and kick it around like we've done countless times before. So possession was great. Productivity with it was very lacking. How I described it at the game, and I even said it to you, I think, was passing and kicking with a purpose. It felt like we weren't putting much behind our we weren't putting enough power behind our shots, and in some cases we were putting too much into our passes. Or we were having lazy passes and lazy goal. Actually, no. In the beginning, we had very lazy passing, very lazy shots. And then later on, we had good passing, but still we were very lacking in our shot department.
Mm-hmm.
So some positives, some negatives. Good possession, but not much productivity, and I guess another one was we did have some really good defensive plays, as I talked to you about, but I didn't want to hog everything. The one specific play that came to my mind was basically there was one where Florida was on the counterattack, and you basically, from my perspective, you had Christian and you had Steph basically pincering the ball away from the attacking Florida player. In reality, it was Steph basically stepping in front of him and just being a wall, as he does so eloquently, or so elegantly. Excuse me. Sorry, wrong word. I'm not a thesaurus. So, it's we definitely had some good plays, both offensively and defensively. But we just some more effort on the shots and just some more productivity when actually possessing the ball. We possessed a lot. We just didn't have much productivity with it. So that's something we need to work on, is actually making something out of that possession. Anyway, I rambled too long. What do you got?
You're good. No, I think the thing that we need to work on, you talk about bad shots. It's exploiting weaknesses. And Navarrete had a good game.
Yes, he did.
It looks really good on paper, but it's not as good on paper or in real life as it is on paper, because so many of those shots ended up being not even worm burners. They were just on the turf at goal.
Although a couple of those were so pretty. Like Christian had an amazing curving ball, and I want to say maybe it was Isak. It was either Isak or Bond. Had another real nice curving ball. The problem is they curved the wrong way, or they didn't curve enough. They were so pretty. I just wanted to see them go in. They would have been goal. They would have been goal of the week candidate, goal of the year candidate. Some of them. Oh, so pretty. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No, I was just say, like the weakness for Florida is Navarrete.
Yeah.
He's not as good as Hugo Silva was before visa issues took him away, and whether he decided to come back or not, or it was visa that held him out this year, that's not relevant at this point in the season.
Right.
And you saw it on the first goal that Utica got, the absolute laser from Swift that got put into the goals of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Navarrete doesn't have that much of a vertical. He's 5'10". Like, for comparison, Coughlin's listed at 6 foot. And Navarrete's listed at 190. Coughlin's listed at 170. 175. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying he's short and fat as an extra short, extra fat guy myself. But compared to other goalkeepers, he's on the smaller, stockier side.
Agreed. Yes.
He's going to have trouble going up and getting those high ones. And too many of those balls were on the ground.
Or
without enough pace.
Yes.
Because you saw the one that did have pace, and he made a kick save, and it just kind of sputtered away. He's not that good with his feet. He's not like a Josh Lamos or an Andrew Coughlin or a Paolo Nascimento kind of guy that you're going to trust to carry it if they need to. He came out of the box to get it with his feet, and Chino took it away and put it right in. Those 2 goals were taking advantage of an obvious weakness on the opposing team.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And if you can, like, we talk about, when you're up, you just keep going and you keep the gas pedal going until you can't see the other team in your rearview mirror. In the same point here, like, you got the knife in them. Don't be afraid to turn it. Just keep going at it. Florida's got a dang good defense. So if you're getting through them to Navarrete, you have to take advantage of that and beat him.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, you see you see a defense. You see and something you can exploit. Use it.
Yes.
Take it. Like, that's one of the ways that can help contribute to you winning.
It's like in baseball when a team sees that the opposing pitcher is tipping his pitches.
Mm-hmm.
They just kind of, hey, here's what's happening. And then a rally goes off, and then the game's basically over at that point. Just keep pushing, guys.
Yeah, just, push until they stop squirming.
That said, hugely positive this weekend was, you mentioned possession, didn't do a ton with it, but Utica dominated this game with possession.
Oh, absolutely.
Florida was hard pressed just to get shots. They were outshot 33-13, which, maybe that happens on a small field, not on a big one.
No, we literally, I could not believe how many shots we had. I'm sorry, how many dogs we had compared to them. That was just with the offensive power that they have at their disposal. Ricardo Carvalho, Drew Ruggles, Joey, Diegues. Why am I blanking on these? Like, just to name a few of them. I mean, they have some serious power, and we just didn't let them do anything with it, except for the ones that they did get by, which,
even 2 of those, like, one of them was, I think it was Hundelt got megged on the line.
Mm-hmm.
Coughlin couldn't get over farther. Hundelt was already there, just got beat. Right. And then the one that we talked about earlier, that outside toe poke from Carvalho that froze Coughlin.
Oh, that left-footed toe poke.
Yeah,
it was pretty. Like, that.
Kudos, man. Like, congratulations. That was a beautiful goal.
Yeah, nobody knew where that ball went until it was in the back of the net.
Mm-hmm.
Like, amazing goal.
But if you play that kind of offensive game where you can possess, especially down in Baltimore on the smaller turf, and you can keep Baltimore from getting those quick counterattacks where, you can shoot from just inside the third line on that small field.
I was going to say, yeah, you can literally shoot just outside of the defensive third.
You're at midfield and you're looking like, I got this.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's going to be key this weekend, especially Saturday night, is controlling the ball offensively.
Mm-hmm. No, we need to see more of that come this weekend, for sure, on that smaller field.
Well, I guess I'll give you what you wanted. You did want me to expand a little bit on getting every penny's worth down on the turf.
Yes. You need to tell the story.
Okay,
I've heard it, but you need to tell it.
I will share it because, I wasn't going to actually, but sure.
No. We all need to understand how, somebody was basically just not going to be at the game ever again, probably.
I will always be at the game, even when I'm not there. I'm there in spirit.
There's a difference between being there in spirit and being allowed to be there in person. Anyway.
They can smuggle me in a bag.
You're small enough.
Yeah. Look, all I'll say is that we get there, we go down to the beer garden, talking with Kate's stepdad just about the game in general. I was like, crap. Foster, 42 is here. He goes, oh, yeah, I saw 42. And I know that means it's going to be a rough day.
Also, let me preface this real quick.
Yeah.
If you don't already know, Matt doesn't drink. So it's not like he's in the beer garden being some drunken fool. I just want to throw that out there and preface this.
No, I just got a better view.
Yeah.
Well, closer view.
Yep.
Ball goes into a corner. It's not the best view.
Right.
But I'll preface it further about Kate's stepfather. He's a season ticket holder, but he doesn't, stream the games when they're on the road. He gets updates from Kate. And he does, because of his business that he runs, he's not always able to make every game.
Yeah.
So the fact that he can identify the official and go, oh, God, this is going to be rough, says a lot about the reputation of that official.
Yes, it does.
Early, or I think it was in the second quarter, because we were down at our end, at the stage end shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And on the far end, I think it was Joey got taken out from underneath on a 50-50 ball in the air.
Got his legs taken out basically from underneath him, came down flat.
Just got bumped a little bit.
Yeah.
Michael goes, what happened? I was like, oh, and I look, and right across the penalty box is Shane Butler. Foster did what he always does, made a bad call, and I get this little side eye. Kate at this point says something like, you have to say that? Yeah. Now, did I have to say it loud enough so that this guy could hear me? Making sure I say it loud enough so he can hear that I know his name as well?
I know you.
I'll say this, Butler, normally I don't have an issue with him.
Right.
He had an off day. He had a very off day. He had the missed blue where Isak was taken down from behind. That should have awarded a blue to Utica in the second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And then 40 seconds later, Rafa gets called for a blue. Look, that was absolutely a blue card on Rafa.
Oh, it was.
He wasn't very happy about it, and I cannot repeat on this podcast some of the things he said in the penalty box.
Because they were bad, or because you didn't understand what he said?
What I understood was bad. I'm like, it's okay, Rafa. I know. Yeah, that was a bad call over there. And the ones that I didn't understand were Portuguese, and I don't speak a lick of that. But, game goes on. I keep doing my thing down there. I was told that you guys could hear me up in 212 a couple times. I tried to start a Utica chant.
Oh, yeah. No, we heard you loud and clear. Your voice carries. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying
No.
your voice carries. Like,
Fourth quarter rolls along. I think it was fourth quarter. Let me go check the play-by-play again.
if you must, God.
I want to make sure I have it right.
Didn't do your homework. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's the fourth quarter. The one where coach challenges it and they deny the blue card.
Yeah.
It's 50-50. Could have gone either way.
It was.
But I'm giving them what I can because, of course.
Yeah.
I want the call to go our way. I'd love a blue card.
Yeah, I mean, of course you wanted to, but yeah, it was very much a unlikely scenario.
Yeah. Gordy shoots back corner. Bo puts it in. Tie game. I'm over there going, the Blues are on fire. We don't need no refs. Let this MF burn.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Game ends, regulation ends, goes to overtime. Calls both ways, you know. The best thing I can say about the officiating is they were inconsistent both ways.
Yeah.
And then that review comes from Florida looking for a blue card on Bo. And they show the replay, and I think it's Vandergrift that gets just bumped from behind. And he looks like he's in a low-budget action movie, and there's an explosion behind him. Just arms in the air, flying away.
Yeah, there was.
And you can see this on the broadcast at this point if you go back, because the camera cuts down to the officials going to the review. And you watch my bald head pop into the corner because I moved down the penalty box. I'm like, do the right thing. Call him for embellishment. I've seen better acting in adult entertainment movies. And he looks at me with, I couldn't tell if it was just the most, I am not entertained by this anymore, and I want you dead. Like, he wanted me to cross, I'm pretty sure he wanted me to cross a line just so he could be like, all right, get him out of here. That's too much.
Out. Goodbye.
I didn't curse. I didn't say anything. But it reminds me of a quote from Coach Jim Valvano, who coached college basketball back in the day before cancer took his life early, unfortunately. Big thing every year on ESPN. And to paraphrase, it's, you know, I asked a referee one time if he could give me a technical for thinking bad things about him. To which he said, well, of course not. So I told him, I think he stinks. He gave me a technical. You can't trust refs. They don't call anything either way. I was like, this. They didn't give embellishment. Honestly, I didn't think they would because they weren't calling it at all game. Honestly, this league has the rule for embellishment, but it doesn't get called ever. Ever.
It got called on Gordy.
Yeah, like once a season it gets called.
Well,
per
it
team.
wasn't like a full blue, or anything. You know,
they get the warning.
Yeah, he got called for embellishment in Harrisburg actually, and I'm like, yeah, that was kind of embellishment there, Gordy. Come on, like you tried. I appreciate it.
And who was it for Florida? Rafa got the yellow for delay of game. There was a yellow before that did not get reported.
I only remember the one.
The delay of game was down. It was in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not on the penalty summary. There's one in the fourth, which was just a warning.
Yeah, there was a warning, and then there was the actual card that was issued.
There's the yellow card for dissent.
I only got the delay of game.
Yeah, but we both saw the yellow in the third, right? Florida was trying to.
I only remember the.
It might have been delay game at that point. I'd have to go back and rewatch the fourth quarter. But a Harrisburg player or a Florida player gets called for a foul on a tackle that was all ball.
Yeah.
And then he says something to, I think it was Butler at that point on the far side. And he gets the yellow for that. And I was like, come on, man. Like, you missed that call. You just gave Utica the ball in a great place. Yeah, he's going to be upset.
Yeah, I think at that point they were just sick of hearing it.
I really do. Well, guys, just a little more consistent. I don't know. Just Foster is Foster, and I think Butler just had a real bad day by his standards, because usually we don't talk about him at all. Like I said, it went both ways. Bad calls both ways that hurt both teams.
Agreed. I mean, there was one that definitely hurt Florida in overtime. And I don't mean the game winner. I mean the bookkeeping error.
Yeah.
For Carvalho getting a red card, getting ejected, even though he only had 5 fouls.
Yeah, we both went back and looked through the play-by-play. Like, I searched for Carvalho.
Yeah.
And I counted 5 fouls.
Yep.
And the 5th one was in overtime. So, yeah, he should not have been ejected. I don't know if he changes things in the next 30 seconds, but it certainly gave the crowd something to continue to be as raucous as ever about.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, that place, that place was... I was pretty sure the roof was going to come off. It was as loud as when San Diego was in town. Like, that place was deafening.
Yeah, it was crushing down on the floor.
Yeah, that's what you were saying, is that it was tough. It was loud.
But I guess one last thing on the refs, and that's just, you had a good day as a heckler when post game, we won't say which player came over and was like, wow, you were really going at the officials. Yeah. I'd go after the Florida guys, but they look like they could beat me up.
What, you don't think that some of our guys could beat you up?
Oh, they definitely could, but I'm not heckling our guys.
Okay, yeah, fair point.
I think we have one more note on this game, and that regards to Joey. And some of the things that he made clear. And we are all for heckling. Absolutely.
And, I mean, to a point, so is he.
Yeah.
I mean, he made that very clear in some social, catching some people up. I'm sure most everyone knows, but Joey was traded to Florida again. And, there's been a lot of not controversy around it, but a lot of people aren't happy because there was no real explanation.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? There was no real explanation to him either. Made that very clear on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll take a page right out of his book. He basically said he totally understands being booed. Like, he's on the other team. He gets it.
Yeah.
But he didn't leave by choice. He's not a traitor, as some of apparently the younger fans had called him, a traitor and whatnot. Like, It's sports. People get traded. We've already lost Moy. We already lost Diegues. We lost, technically this year we lost to it. Well, not this year, but, we didn't lose him. We never had him, but, Jake is on Baltimore now, which, fairly confident that's just for the playoffs, but hey.
Yeah, I really hope we don't see him Saturday or April 1st.
I don't anticipate it. I don't think so. So it's sports. Like, people get traded. It's not like, I mean, you and I both saw those guys in 72 after that game.
Yeah.
Celebrating. Those guys are such a tight-knit group. And Joey was right in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he was shunned. It's not like, they had written him off. He was still part of that group. He was still part of that family. And that's never going to change, no matter where he goes. And I say the same thing. Like, I've told him that, both to his face and privately in DMs and stuff. Like, he is always, to me, more than welcome in Utica, and he's always got a drink waiting, whether it's me or somebody else getting it.
Mm-hmm. No, I think one of the things that this league has as an issue is kind of like we saw with I commend Reggett for this, is coming out and telling his side of the story. Because you don't get that anywhere else.
No, you really don't. I still need to watch that. I am such a slacker.
You could tell, like, Joey getting traded hurt him personally. Yeah. Some off the record conversations, and it's one thing if, like, in the bigger leagues, when you find out the story breaks and like, so and so forced his trade out of town, and fine, you want to be upset with them because they forced their way out after committing to a contract, and then a year and onto like 3-year contract, they're like, no, I don't want to be here anymore. Fine. But these guys are playing like 1-year contracts. They're not making a ton of money.
No.
And I don't know. Like, I just don't have the same animosity towards anyone in this league as I do in other leagues.
No, I have, any of the guys that have left, with maybe like one exception that I can think of. None of, there's zero animosity towards any of the people that have left the team throughout the year, or throughout the, the short lifespan of Utica, because I can't look at, Silver Knights because I didn't know about it until they were Utica.
Yeah. It's been, I guess I said that wrong. Like, even in other leagues, I don't have animosity towards players. It's fans of players.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
Oh my God, please shut up about this guy. He's not as good as you think. Like, I'll say I don't care for LeBron, and that's mostly because the media just shoved him down my throat from the moment I was a teenager on. I liked Brett Favre, and then he went through all his stuff at the end where it was, I'm retiring, I'm not retiring, I'm retiring, I'm not retiring. Oh my God, make up your mind.
Yeah. Yep.
Same thing goes, like, Landon Donovan played in this league. As an LA Galaxy fan, love the guy. Took a sabbatical. Okay, fine, I get it. Retires. Comes out of retirement. Retires. Comes out of retirement for the MASL. Just stay retired, man. Please.
Just get out. Stay out.
It's not that I don't love seeing you play. It's that, like, you're just kind of tainting your not tainting your legacy, but just adding unneeded chapters.
Beating a dead horse.
Like that good show that probably should have ended after 5 seasons, but for some reason they're milking it into season 8. Dexter.
Hey.
What?
Don't you talk bad about Dexter.
Dexter was fantastic. the last few seasons really kind of jumped off the rails.
Watching you.
They dragged a bit too.
Okay, a little bit.
But we're not a TV podcast, so we'll get back to indoor here. Just be nice to the guys when they come back, unless you know something that we don't. In which case, we'd love to know the juicy details.
I mean, if you have some personal grudge against somebody, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But if you're getting on their case or, giving them animosity simply because they are no longer on our team, then come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be frank. His goal was cool. Like that diving goal, I couldn't tell if it was off his head or off his chest. It was off his chest, right?
Yeah.
The diving chest to the net was just, mwah.
That one hurt a little bit just because it was from Junior to Joey, and they both were Utica players at one point.
Yeah. It hurt, but it was just like, I can't say anything bad about it. It was a nice goal, and Joey was right where you'd expect him to be.
Back post.
So bad on Andrew for not realizing that Joey was going to be right there to capitalize on it.
When that trade went down, I said, on paper, Taylor Bond isn't the same player that Joey is. On the turf, he's not either, but he brings different qualities to the game.
He's got some good footwork.
Joey's that sneaky, backdoor, toe tap kind of player. Really good with the off-ball movement.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor's just more physical. Part of that has to do with size.
I was going to say, it doesn't feel, based on what we've seen the team do up until now this season, his style didn't seem to fit the vision of the team with how they play and what they've been doing over the past X amount of games now.
Which is weird to say, even though he had 13 goals and 3 assists.
It is, because he did so well for us. But, I mean, that's because it's Joey, and he's good at what he does.
Yeah. Well, I think that wraps up everything from this past weekend.
Wow, we just got here.
Let's talk next weekend. But before we talk next weekend, let's talk standings, because this is very key here.
Yes.
Briefly, Utica got to be in 4th place and have the hopes and dreams of hosting the play-in game.
I actually took a screenshot of it just so I could savor the moment for a little bit longer than what it was looking like we were going to have.
But no. Kansas City had to come together after their backup goalkeeper who started the game broke his hand, unite around the 3rd-string goalkeeper, and win just their 2nd game on the road in Milwaukee, who lost just their 2nd game at home.
Yep.
All less than 24 hours after losing to Baltimore at home, which was only Baltimore's 2nd win on the road.
Yeah, unfortunately, just couldn't hold KC back. Wait. Yeah, I was gonna say it was Milwaukee that played them.
Yeah, Milwaukee played KC. Milwaukee couldn't hold them back.
Yeah, for some reason I got my wires crossed with what you said. But yeah, Milwaukee just couldn't hold them back and ended up dropping 3 to them, and because of that, now we're 2 points behind again, and sadness. But yeah, I took a screenshot just so I could enjoy that 4th place slot for a little longer.
It is a tight race in the East.
Yep.
Teams 1 through 5 are only separated by 6 points. The difference between 5 and 6 is 7 points. Anyone could come out of the East with the number 1 seed, which is crazy to think that Utica would be in that conversation.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be tough. We only have 4 games left, and 3 of the teams ahead of us have 5 games left. But there's a very good chance Utica could get that 4 seed. I mean, we're only 3 points out of that 3 seed.
It's if you told me we'd be in this situation after the first couple games of the season, I would have laughed at you. That we would be at 500 at this point too.
I mean, one of the reasons I was so harping on the goal differential is because the way the team was playing without a defense.
Yeah.
I mean, we weren't expecting Toby to get cleared. We had no idea that Mijatovic was going to come this way and be the impact player that he's been. But those two have solidified the back line, and they've changed the way this team plays.
Agreed. Wholeheartedly.
Hold on, let me find the Twitter thread where, okay. So, like I said, Casey and Utica have the fewest chances to earn points. We only have 4 games left each. Everyone else in the East has 5. Playoff scenarios. Baltimore can clinch a spot in the playoffs if they beat Utica on Saturday and St. Louis loses this weekend.
Yep.
Harrisburg needs to win both of its games this weekend to stay alive. If it loses one, it's out. And one of those games is Sunday at the Odd. And honestly, I don't know what's scarier. A team that is fighting for its playoff life or a team with nothing left to fight for except to ruin someone else's playoff hopes. Especially if they've lost to that team 11 times in a row.
Well, now correct me if I'm wrong, but technically, Utica can also ruin their playoff hopes simply with a win in overtime in Baltimore. Because that would put us at 29 points. They only have 5 games left, which is a maximum of 28 points. We need 2 points to knock them out.
Right.
So
yes. A loss in either game, or if Utica wins either game this weekend, we will also eliminate Harrisburg.
Yeah. So if we pull off a win in Baltimore, which is a very tall order, even an overtime win, which we've done, we've pulled off wins down there before. Even with a win down there, yeah, we knock them out and then make Sunday completely pointless for Harrisburg, but not for us.
Right. Well, let's talk schedule for everyone just to give an idea of who we think is going to stay where, because Milwaukee, they're probably going to stay in first place with the schedule they have.
Yeah, I don't anticipate them moving.
They go down to Dallas, and then they play at home against Dallas this weekend. I don't want to say it's 6 points, but it's probably 4, if not more.
By the way, did you notice their goal differential is literally 0?
Yes.
113,
the only one
113.
The only one with a good goal differential is Baltimore, and that's because they had 3 blowout games in a row at home that were like 11-3.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the top 4 in the East are very tight. And then Utica's got that terrible goal differential, basically because of 3 blowout losses. Florida plays at Kansas City, at St. Louis. They haven't been that good on the road. They host Utica, and then they host St. Louis twice to end the season. Baltimore hosts Utica, hosts Kansas City, travels to Mesquite, hosts Mesquite, and then they come up to Utica to end the season.
Yep.
KC hosts Florida, goes to Baltimore, hosts Harrisburg, goes to Harrisburg. Utica, as we know, goes to Baltimore, hosts Harrisburg this weekend, then goes to Florida next weekend, and then hosts Baltimore to end the season. St. Louis plays Harrisburg and Florida at home. Then they end the season with 3 straight road games at Milwaukee, at Florida, at Florida.
Are y'all keeping track of this? Because if not, there will be a quiz at the end.
Yeah.
And it will be timed. You must make sure that you answer correctly. Otherwise, we are going to revoke your tickets. I don't care what tickets you hold for which team. We're taking them all away.
Harrisburg probably out of the playoffs this weekend, unless miracles happen for them. St. Louis, I'm not going to say they're completely out of the playoff picture yet, because statistically they aren't. However, it's going to be a tall task to win 3 games in a row on the road to end the season. In Milwaukee and then in Florida twice.
Yeah. It's a tall order.
So realistically, we're looking at 5 teams and how those shake out. Milwaukee has the easiest schedule, even though they do travel to San Diego. But the other 4 games are against teams with losing records.
Right.
Honestly, Utica might have the toughest schedule just because of the quick turnaround this weekend.
Hey, at least they made it better for themselves.
Yes, we'll mention that here. We'll see how it shakes out. Hopefully Utica can get that 4 seed and we can have a home game. Or that it can be on like a Tuesday and I can drive. Unless that would be in Kansas City. I don't think I'm getting there very fast.
It would be immensely helpful to have a home game, because if it ends up being, us and KC, KC is not going to have fun.
It'll be the battle of the blue turfs.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle of blue turfs either way. But yeah, it's going to be a tough game if they're in Utica.
Mm-hmm. Baltimore with 3 home games, they could easily get a lot of points right there and put them significant, settle themselves in as that 2 seed. So we'll have to see how things shake out, but it really looks like it's going to be Utica and Kansas City flip-flopping there at the 4 if there's going to be any changes.
Agreed. Unless something crazy happens.
Yeah. Which could very well happen.
It is the MASL. We've seen some crazy things happen.
So let's talk this weekend, and then we can wrap it up quick.
With a bow.
Utica, Baltimore, 5th time this year. We're 1-3 against them, winning by 1 goal with that 0.1 second handball outside the box in Utica. We've lost the other 2 times in Baltimore. We haven't won in Baltimore since December 14th of 2019. And that was an overtime win in which Ben Raymond scored the deciding goal. Can this Utica team do it? Can they pull off the upset road win where Baltimore is 8-1? There was a lot of dead air there. I kept waiting.
The reason there was you hurt my brain, because we are not 1-3, sir. We are 2-4.
What?
First game of the year, we lost to them 8-7.
Yeah.
Second game, we lost to them 10-3.
Uh-huh.
Third game, we beat them 8-7. Fourth game, we beat them 5-2.
Oh, right. We are 2-2 against them.
We are 50-50 with them. We have come roaring back in this season against Baltimore.
I forgot that game because we just dominated them, which we just don't do that often anymore.
No. And that's why I was like, so you are forgetting something. We are not 1-3. This is not as uphill of a battle as you say it is. Now, it is. Don't get me wrong.
To be fair, we're 0-2 in CQ.
We are 0-2 in CQ. We've won both of our games. Both of the games that we have won against them, we have won at home. Which, of course, full-size field, home crowd, backing the team. Yeah. So it is a very different arena down in Baltimore, but we are now 50. We're now a 500 team against Baltimore, which we haven't been at in a while since probably the 2019 season. Considering we dropped every game to them last year, and the fact we're at 500 against them right now is awesome. So basically, I'm actually trying to think about this because I actually want to look at one thing before I go any further. I want to see the last time we played them at their home. That's what I thought. 2 people we did not have. Who are they? Go ahead, say it.
Are they Darren Toby and Stefan Mijatovic?
There you go. We did not have a solid defense the last time we were down there. This time we do. I'm sorry. We did have Toby. We did have Toby, okay. But he was just coming back. That was like right around the time that he was just coming back to us. Because that was like, what was it?
That was the week after he came back. So it was his second game.
So it was his second game. He was, granted he was playing, in other leagues and whatnot, but it was his first game back with this team. Or second game, excuse me. So the fact that I've seen him do all these things that he's done, backing up Andrew, and then, of course, having Mijatovic on the field with him to complement those defensive plays, or those two swapping back and forth, whatever. It's a different team now. This is not the same team that went to CQ Arena those 2 times. I honestly don't think it is, and so I believe that more. I mean, I would be an optimist for this game either way because I want to be, but these guys give me a reason to be. And again, it's not just them. Like it's the whole team's team's attitude. But those 2 are big contributing factors. Steph especially, because he's just a big guy. You don't mess with the juggernaut. So yeah, that's something you have to take into account, is the fact that our last 2 meetings with them, we won. But just not on their turf. So, yeah, we're back on the small field, and that will make a difference. We're going to have to be mindful of the 3-line violation, because that has caught us so many times down there that we've given them, and it's not just us, it's everybody, that we give up top of the arc. Like, we can't do that. We have to be mindful of it. Put it on the ground. Have Andrew chuck it. I don't care. Don't kick it. Don't kick it down. Don't chip it down the field. Get past that. Get past that one line. Just do that. So yeah, that was something I just wanted to bring up. Like, you hurt my brain, and that's why it took me so long to respond. But yeah.
So on top of the reinforcements that we have just from adding Steph and Toby being back to full speed.
Yeah.
The injury report is out for Utica. It's not out for Baltimore. But we can say that Tim Goldman, once again, will be out. I still expect him to be on the bench since he was given that assistant coach title.
Yep.
Ricky Alves, questionable. Probable. Nate Bordeaux didn't play these past 2 games. Cesar Correa. We haven't seen him since the Ontario game, I think.
Yeah, it's been a while for him. He was at 72 though.
Yes, he's been around, but he hasn't played. We haven't seen him in action.
On the turf, right.
Yeah. And Logan Roberts.
Yep. I have it from a pretty reliable source that we'll see Logan this weekend.
Yes.
So I sincerely believe that, we will see him on the field, and that will be a welcome sight, because he is kind of a glass cannon. we don't like, he's on the field for a while and then he's just not.
Yeah, I mean, Logan's got a lot of speed out of the back, good footwork. Unfortunately, his career has been just mired with injuries.
It has. It really has.
Like, I don't know if we never got around to recording our free agent thing in the spring because the league didn't put out a free agent list.
Nope.
But at the time, I was going to say, like, I love Logan. Bring him back. You have to sign someone behind him because, unfortunately, you can probably count on him for 16 to 20 games.
Because he's going to play his butt off for those 16 to 20 games and get himself hurt.
Yes. Kind of like someone else we've heard about who has missed a bunch of time this year because he goes a little too hard in practice and hurts himself there. A certain sweary Portuguese speaking fellow.
Yeah, that one.
Look, I was a gym class hero, so I can't say anything. Yeah. Try hard.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with trying hard.
No.
At all.
Give it your all the time. Yeah, I like Utica's chances in this. I just don't know if Baltimore will slip up at home.
Yeah, that's a tall ask. Honestly.
Get it to overtime and I will be extremely happy. Look competitive and fine. Depending on how Friday goes, that will determine what comes Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Sunday's game was pushed back an hour. It will start at 3. Thank you, Utica, for being like, hey, you know what? An extra hour of sleep is probably a good thing for our guys. Especially since it's about a 6-hour drive back from Baltimore to the Utica area.
Considering you had literally talked about this earlier in the season, saying, yeah, we gave the other teams that we play when they have a game the night before an extra hour before our game, but we didn't do it for ourselves. You literally called that out in an earlier episode.
Yep.
And now here we are actually giving ourselves that extra hour, which made complete sense. And it made no sense that we didn't do it for ourselves. So the fact that we did is awesome. It's what we needed to do.
It is good to see that maybe somebody listened or someone else just looked at that and went, "Huh, that's funny. Why not do that?"
Why are we doing this to ourselves?
But Harrisburg will come in either fighting for their playoff lives or knowing they've been eliminated.
Yeah.
At which point, they're just going to want to try to make us miss out on the playoffs too. Especially if they lose to St. Louis. And St. Louis is just 4 points away at that point.
Right.
So, how do we think Sunday goes? Because we're very familiar with this team. We're not going to go through the rundown of who's playing and blah, blah, blah.
We're not going to give a prediction on Saturday?
Oh, we'll give a prediction. Oh, would you like to give one for Saturday?
No, I figured we were going to give a prediction on Saturday. And then
let's give them both right now.
Oh, okay. All right.
Back to back.
So, for Saturday, I am going to go back to 2019 and say we are going to take our first win since 2019 in Baltimore in overtime. So I'm going to say it's going to be another 5-4. I'm going to say 5-4 in overtime in Baltimore. Because that will be, one of the better scenarios for us anyway, because that will knock out Harrisburg. So kind of where I'm thinking with that one. But again, this is a different team now. Yeah. I feel that this is a different team that Utica has. And so, yeah, I believe that. So that's what I'm going to go with for that game. Do you want my other one, or would you like to give yours?
Oh, you can go back to back, and then I'll go back to back.
Okay, then. For Harrisburg at home, I'm going to go with another 1-goal game again, because the reverse psychology worked last time when I said one goal.
X.
When I said 1 goal and we ended up with 3. Anytime I say we're going to be winning by 2 or 3, we win by 1. So I'm going to say we're winning by 1 again, and it'll be 6-5. Why not?
Okay. You know, that comment would have been a lot funnier to those listening if they could see you putting your fingers to your temple, like Patrick Stewart in the first 3 X-Men movies. Logan, talk to me.
Well, then, we gotta start doing some videos on these.
Sure, we can absolutely start doing that, but not this week. Well, I've got this head cold, and I'm sure no one wants to watch me blow my nose 100 times.
It's only been like 3.
It's still enough that it'll disgust some people.
All right, what do you got? Gimme. Come on.
It's been high scoring every time we've gone to Baltimore or Chihuahua and played on those small turfs.
Yep.
I'm going to say 1-goal game, 6-5. Overtime. Let's go with it. Utica.
I was going to say, I'm assuming you're going Utica here, or are you going Baltimore?
I'm going to go even crazier. Logan Roberts with the overtime goal.
It's not going to be another shootout.
He's going to summon his inner Ben Raymond. Just be possessed by the spirit of Benny.
Superman.
Toe poke it right past Vanzella. Sunday. I'm going to go low scoring on this. I'm going to go 4-3 Utica. It's going to be a dogfight either way. And yeah, it's going to be playing on a small field the night before, but you're still in a van for 6 hours.
Yeah, true.
So even if you're home at 3 a.m, you're not getting a full 8-10 hours of sleep, depending on what you need after that.
And Harrisburg's going to be coming in hungry no matter what. So
yeah, because they're either going to want to play spoiler or stay alive.
Yeah. Yep. I could see both happening.
Now they'll be without Schmermond because although he hadn't played for the team, he's been traded back to St. Louis.
Yep. Yeah, didn't really get anything out of that one.
But yeah, I'd like a 5-point weekend from Utica.
Honestly, like I said, I would probably take at least a 3. Just because, again, that knocks out a 3-point weekend for us means a knockout for Harrisburg. A 2-point weekend for us, as long as we don't drop 3 to Harrisburg. Actually, no, a 2-point weekend for us, no matter what, drops Harrisburg.
Yes.
So even if we took 2 overtime losses, Harrisburg's gone.
Yeah.
At that point, knocked out. So I would take that at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Just to basically not necessarily secure a spot, because we still have to, fight off St. Louis with a stick, but it at least takes one team out of the running.
Yes. Yeah.
But then we do have some tough games after that. So.
Oh yeah. Haven't won in Florida. We haven't. And then Baltimore to end the season. Those games are always hard fought. Well, except that last time for some reason.
Well, again, we've had 2 good games against Baltimore at home. So stick on that trend, and the last game might not be that bad. But we'll see.
We will certainly see. Anything else you want to add this week here, Brandon?
Sogs.
Yes,
just
of course. usual places. You can find us Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Stream us wherever you listen to podcasts, like whatever app you're using now.
Whenever.
Might be dropping a new design later today. It might already be out by the time you're listening to this. But we got one for the Great Wall of Utica. And no, I will not tell you which player that is.
I know which one it is.
Well, yeah, it's like you work on the pod with me, so I ask.
It's almost like
input.
you ran the idea by me.
Yeah, and some other people too.
After you already did it.
Well, I was doing it either way. I had to get it out of my head.
I know. And out of your head and onto, I guess it's not paper, but.
And onto a screen.
Onto the screen. There we go.
And then someone else can put it onto a t-shirt for you guys.
Still can't believe you didn't do a Juggernaut. We still
that
need
just
one
gave
sometime.
It away.
No. I wasn't giving anything away.
Look,
I still can't believe you haven't done a Juggernaut yet.
I am not very good with the artsy-fartsy stuff. I just kind of take stuff and twist it. I'd basically just like have to Photoshop Steph's face into a picture of Juggernaut and be like, there it is.
Yeah, which that would probably not, I'm sure that Disney would love you for that.
Oh, yeah, they'd be right after me.
But
come on, I changed the shape of it, the color of it, the number from the S to a number for Logan's, and it got taken down for DCMA.
Yeah, all I'm saying is that I was surprised that we didn't have one.
Look, I would love to, but
so
I feel like legal would have issues with that, and I haven't consulted with our lawyers that we don't have. Hey, if you haven't already listened to MASL Monday, Ray Biggs is on there. Breaks down this week's games as well as gives his power rankings.
Not bad, I would say.
Yeah.
I'd say the power rankings are pretty good.
Other than that, thank you guys for listening. Let's have a big weekend for Utica. Be loud on Sunday. Go City.
Let's go Utica.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to the Keeper's Corner podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to us so you never miss an episode. If that podcast app also has reviews, be sure to leave us 5 stars to let us know how we're doing and reach a larger audience. It really helps us out. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Keeper Corners Pod. And you can always find us there talking UCFC soccer. Thanks again for the support. It's truly appreciated. One last thing. Go Utica.